Friends, I have a three-part presentation today. We have to cover all the essentials. So first, let me take up the message and the challenge the scriptures offer us today. 15th Sunday, Year C, begins with the first reading from the book of Deuteronomy, where Moses talks to his people and talks to them about the law. What do we do with the law? How do we interpret? He said it's not mysterious or rare to find. It's not up above the sky or across the sea that you need to send somebody to get and interpret for us. But it is in your heart, in your mouth. All you need to do is to carry that out. How do we carry it out? What is within us? God has implanted in us those beautiful commandments. They are not to stifle our freedom, but to enhance our project of life as Christians. The answers to that comes from the gospel, where Jesus tells us a wonderful parable of the Good Samaritan. In the past, we could assume that every one of us knew the parable, but nowadays, the young people don't get a chance to know what the parable is all about. So I urge the parents to talk to them today about that story of the Good Samaritan. How does this message, this parable, talk to us today? How do we carry what is inside of us? The parable presents to us three main characters. The man is wounded, is robbed, and left for half dead, and three people pass by. Two of them are, one is the priest and the Levite. Both are connected to priesthood and sacrifice and work in the temple. But they just did not stop. Did not even bother to look at what happened. All that they saw was somebody bleeding. And for them, they were culturally and religiously bound by the law, which prohibited them from touching anybody bleeding, because blood represents something sacred, the source of life. And if you touch something sacred, you are defiled. So they pass on. They might seem insensitive to us. But then comes a stranger, a foreigner, a Samaritan. He saw the victim, he stopped, and then he poured the oil and the wine and bandaged him, took him to the inn. Okay, that's basically the story. How do we apply? Who are these people? The stranger, the foreigner, the Samaritan, can be considered as Jesus. Jesus himself talks about himself today in the passage. He comes to our humanity, bends down, stoops down to look at our brokenness, our woundedness, and pours the oil of his love and the wine of his blood to heal and comfort us. Second, who is the wounded person? Well, wounded persons are we. Each and every one of us is wounded. The third point is, what is the inn representative of? The inn can represent our relationship we form with people, the church, or the society at its best. Well, now, the point is, our invitation is to follow Jesus and be like Jesus. If Jesus is compared to that Good Samaritan, we are to be the Good Samaritan. Our invitation today is to be people who can reach out to people who are wounded. Now you might ask, how do I know people are wounded? People are smiling, they look good, and I don't see any problem. No. Every one of us is wounded. Let us assume that. If you spend long enough time, you will have people pouring out their soul because they are somehow or the other either wounded, afflicted, rejected, abandoned, persecuted, and left for half dead by the society, by the family, by the friends, and wherever they work. Everyone can be assumed to be wounded. All we need to do is to listen. Listening is not speaking. Listening is listening. If you listen to somebody, let them talk and you just listen. That's why this is a sacrament of listening. People will pour out. Yes, on Friday, I had the experience. I'm sure as priests we get to know many people as deacons, and Father Vincent has several experience of that. People come to talk to you. The other day, Friday, was not a day for confession. After the morning mass, somebody asked me to listen to her confession. I said, okay, it might be 2-3 minutes. I will do that because there were people waiting after that for me for my appointment. Then I went in, and that poor lady poured out non-stop. It went on for 35 minutes, so wounded and hurting. Finally, I had to kind of break it at that point, otherwise she would have continued even for more time. People are hurting. Some people may masquerade that, put a facade on top of it and smile as though nothing is wrong with them or nothing is hurting them. But every one of us deep down are hurting. So, my challenge today is find somebody. You don't have to go far. Start with your family. Find somebody that you want to listen to. Just say hello and start it off, and they will pour it out. We have come to the Eucharist to listen to the word that has been spoken to us. We will be celebrating the Eucharistic part of our meal. To be a Eucharistic people, our challenge today is to take our sacrament to outside by listening to people. Are you ready for the challenge? No? Come on. I wish by next week I will have some stories you can share with us of listening. All right? That's my challenge. That's our challenge for all of us today from the Scripture.